In this module, we're going to be looking into the Django models and the Django databases. Now, Django is an ORM platform, meaning ORM meaning Object Relational Mapper. So it is an Object Relational Mapper which enables us to just create objects that we can use, and those objects will be migrated as a database table. So that is how Django works. It has this Object Relational Mapper plugin or compatibility that enables it to do all these things on its own. So we are not concerned about writing any SQL language or database language. We are only concentrating on building the project that we actually want to build. So we only need to specify those objects accordingly so that Django can understand what type of data that we want to work with. So let's get started with that. Visiting the Django documentation, this is their write-up about models. So they said a model is the single definitive source of information about your data. It contains the essential fields and behaviors of the data you are storing. Generally, each model maps to a single database table. So make sure to read the Django documentation on docs.djangoproject.com, and that is where you get all the documentation about Django. And if you go straight down to this, you see where they specified everything that you need to know. I am not going to go straight to this, but rather I am going to go straight into our IDE, and we do that practically. Since my server is still running, so I am going to use Ctrl+C to close the server and put this one down. Remove this. Now let's go to the models. So on the app, so we need to go to the app. On the app, you are going to see a file called models.py. We click on it to open it, and by default we have from django.db import models. So this is basically taking charge of everything that we really need to do. So this is a blog application, so let us create a post class. So let's create a class and let's call it post, or we can also call it blog underscore post. And it is going to inherit from models.model. Now let us now specify all the fields that we want to use. So for any blog post, it must have the blog title, it must have the blog description, it can also have the categories, and it can also have some images. So let us do that. So for the title, we're going to make it a character field. So it is going to be model.character field. I am going to leave it at 150 maximum characters. The next one is the description. And it is going to be model.text field, because we actually want to collect a very large volume of text. We can actually set it as set null is equal to true. Now, setting the null to be true actually will make it that even if we don't have anything written in the description, it is going to accept an empty input. We also have this one which is called blank. We can also set it to true. So which actually entails that if this place is blank, it is going to work. So, but I am going to remove this one and use this one in case I should have a blank description. The next one is, let us have the post image. Now, the post image is going to take in and the image is going to be image field like this. Now we have to specify where we want to upload those images to. So in the Django 5.1, even if we don't have this directory, immediately we make an upload on the admin, is gonna create this particular directory. So this is the directory where the images are going to be stored. The next one is we should have the post categories. And for the post categories, I can decide to make it a model.many-to-many field, but let us leave it as models.character field or char field. And the maximum length, maximum character of 100. And the last is date posted, because we want to know when each of the posts was created. And it's going to be a model.datetime field with auto add now, which we are going to set as true. And that's all. Now, each of these models has their meaning. If you want to know the meaning of each of these, you can go to the Django documentation. On the documentation, you will see char field. So char field, and they will tell you take specific arguments, and it represents varchar just like in your databases, and it requires a maximum length argument which specifies the size of the varchar data field used to store the data. And there are so many other fields in Django which, if you want to read about them, you can just go to the models methods and all this, and you will see all the things that you really need to know. You read it up. But for me, I would go ahead to make sure that I migrate these fields. So to migrate actually means to make sure that this table is created in my SQL or in my database. Let me close this, and I have this extension that I use to view the SQLite. It is called SQLite Viewer. So if you want to install it on your IDE, you can just go to the extension and search for SQLite Viewer. And this is it. You can go ahead and install it. Once it is installed, you can come back to your project and just click on this db.sqlite3, and it will show you the database available. Click on it and you will see that there is no database. It is empty. Now let's migrate the admin database first, because if you look at this place, you can see where it says apply the migration for apps, admin, auth, content types, such session, and so on. So these ones are coming from the default Django applications which we saw on the settings.py. If we go back to the settings.py and we go to the installed app lists, you are going to see that we have admin, we have authentication, content type, session, messages, and static files. So all these things are going to be migrated before I now migrate my blog. It doesn't mean that I cannot migrate all of them, but I just want to do it one after the other. So let's pull up our terminal, and here we can just say Python manage.py migrate, just to migrate the one that is ready, and we hit enter. Now watch, Python manage.py migrate, and it's saying. Now, one of the reasons why we have this error is because we created an image, but we did not create or tell Python where to install it, as well as also there is a dependency. Whenever we want to make use of an image in Django, there is a dependency that we must install, and it is called pillow. So we have to do that. So we say Python, or sorry, we use pip install pillow. So pillow helps us to work with images. So let's wait for it to install. Pillow is fully installed now. Let's do the same thing again. Python manage.py migrate. Now you can see that all migration has been applied for the admin. And if I pull this terminal down a little bit and go back to the SQLite again and hit on this database, you will see that I have all these databases now. And if you go to each of them, you see the tables. You see the tables, but there is nothing on the database for now. Let's close this. The next thing is, let us now migrate our own database, which is the model that we just created. So to do that, the first command we need to run is Python manage.py make migrations. Now make migrations is going to make the migration or create this migration. If you look at here, you see where it says blog migration 0001 underscore initial Initial.py. So this is the name of the migration as it was created. And if you go to the app, you are going to see the migration folder, and if you click there, you see the 0001 underscore initial.py. So this was created for us. Now let's migrate it into the database. So we can say Python manage.py migrate, and it's going to migrate into our database. If you pull this down and go to the database again, now we are going to see blog post. So this blog post contains ID, title, description, post image, post category, and post date posted. Now these are the fields that we created on the model, and this is how Python works with the database. In our next module, we are going to be looking into the admin and how the admin can control all these databases. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel, because all the contents that I do here are just to raise you from being a newbie in the Django and Python development, and to send you to the to become a professional developer. So the only thing that you would do for me that will make me happy is to hit on the subscribe button and share my videos. Thank you very much for being here. I'll see you in the next module.